Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our 2016 Shad Derby Queen candidates.
Annual Shad Derby Coronation Ball. Before we start this evening's program, we would like to acknowledge guests who were past Shad Derby candidates, escorts, Derby chairs, as well as former Shad Derby queens. Please stand and be recognized. Many of you continue to be involved in the Windsor community, and we thank you for your service and dedication to traditions of Shad Derby. As many of you know, the events that we now call the Shad Derby had a very humble beginning. The very first Shad event was a one-day cleanup of the Farmington River to bring awareness to the dwindling shad population and the polluted condition of the Connecticut River and its tributaries. When John Cordillo organized the first Shad Derby fishing tournament, he had hopes to create a lasting tradition in Connecticut's first town. Since then, with continued strong community support, it has grown into an amazing multi-event festival tradition run by volunteers alongside the multiple civic organizations here in Windsor.
Each of tonight's candidates has been sponsored by a Windsor organization or business. These young ladies started their journey first at the Shad Derby Gala in March, where they were introduced to the judges as well as family and friends, and were judged on a brief 1-minute speech. The girls were then judged at a private interview evening based on the following criteria: involvement in the community and school, knowledge of current events, poise, and personality. Tonight is the last time they will be scored. By the end of the evening, our 51st Shad Derby Queen will be crowned. We would like to take this opportunity to introduce and thank Laura Ekman, our Judges Chair, Timothy Carmen, our Auditor, and our 3 judges, Lisa Plinus-Smith, Jeremy Moore, and Lynette Eastman, for their time and dedication this year. After dinner, we will introduce our Mistress of Ceremonies. You'll then listen to each of the candidates' speeches. We'll then have the judges head out to make their decision. We'll hopefully all enjoy some mingling and dancing until they return and make their announcement of the Shad Derby Queen and her court. I'd like now to introduce our Shad Derby Festival Committee co-chairs, Kristen Hoffman and Neil Shapstev. Please welcome Kristen and Neil.
Thank you so much, Patty and Michelle. Good evening. Kristen and I are pleased and honored to be your 2016 Shad Derby Festival co-chairs. It is our privilege to share the stage tonight with these accomplished young women. The Shad Derby is Windsor's finest tradition, run by all volunteers through 15 different civic and service organizations, supported by local businesses since 1955. This year marks the 51st celebration of the Coronation Ball, Parade, and Festival on the Green, and 62 years since the first Shad Derby fishing tournament. The 2016 Shad Derby would not be possible without the generous donations of all of our sponsors, especially our gold and platinum sponsors, Windsor Federal Savings, Konica Minolta, Mitchell Seelig Ford, International Transfer, and Acme Cradle. Just have a quick round of applause for them. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to the businesses and civic groups who have generously sponsored Queen's candidates and purchased ads in both the Coronation Ball and Festival programs. We sincerely appreciate their continued commitment to the Shad Derby. Please be sure to patronize these local businesses and enjoy back East Shad Derby Pale Ale with us on the 21st, 2 weeks' time, Derby Day. So we would like to thank the Windsor Junior Women's Club for once again hosting the Coronation Ball. We'd especially like to thank Patty Mason and Michelle Capuano for coordinating tonight's event. We also would love to thank the Queen's Committee this year for their work preparing candidates for all of their hard events, especially tonight's ball. Thank you Celeste Over, Tracy Peterson, Lisa Jorgensen, Lori Foote Mitchell, and Kathleen Fury.
For over 51 years, we have honored Windsor's very best with the deserving distinction of Shad Derby Parade Grand Marshal. We are honored to have the 2016 Shad Derby Parade Grand Marshal, Mr. Howard Dubree Jr. here with us tonight. Mr. Dubree is best known in Windsor for his steadfast commitment to athletics and education for Windsor's youth. Originally from Windsor Locks, Mr. Dubree has been a resident of Windsor for 38 years. During that time, he dedicated an unmeasurable amount of time to coaching the youth of Windsor. He has coached instructional basketball, travel basketball, Nutmeg State Games basketball, Little League baseball, and town and travel soccer. He helped form the Windsor Instructional Basketball League, the first Windsor Boys AAU basketball team, expanded the travel basketball program to 7th and 8th grade students, and created and implemented summer basketball clinics. Mr. Dubree's commitment to athletics was equally measured by his commitment to education. In addition to serving on the Windsor Board of Education for 4 years, he continuously conveyed to his student athletes that their commitment to excel in a sport must be equally matched in academics. Mr. Dubree and his wife, Diane, have 2 sons, Brandon and Aaron, and 7 grandchildren. He is the owner of Dubree Real Estate Appraisal Services. Thank you, Mr. Dubree, for your dedication and continued spirit of giving back to the Windsor community. And to follow it up, because of his commitment to the community, we need to remember that this is our town, our tradition, and our commitment to this community. Thank you, Mr. Dubree. This year, I had the distinct pleasure of introducing Aaron Dubree, his son, as our invocation speaker. Aaron is a lifelong resident of Windsor who spends his days at Cigna supporting sales as a proposal strategist for national accounts. Aaron has been a member of the Windsor JCs for 7 years. He has served as a secretary, served as chair for the Shad Derby Parade and the Shad Derby Beer Garden, and served as chair for the JCs Bowling for Kids team support of the Nutmeg Big Brothers Big Sisters, as well as being the Shad Derby escort in 1995. In addition to his volunteer work with the JCs, Aaron served as a Windsor Town Councilor of 4 years and coach of youth basketball and soccer and t-ball. Aaron and his wife of 8 years, Leslie, are parents to 2 boys, Elijah and Noah. Please welcome Aaron Dubree.
Okay, so there's no shame in being the chair of the Shad Derby Beer Garden. I just want to get that out there first.
So I wrote something, I'm not gonna say it. I heard a lot of clinking. Most of you started eating already, so I'm just gonna say good food, good meat, good Lord, let's eat. No, I'm kidding. Okay, here's the show. So if you could all bow your heads. Father, we thank you for our many blessings. We thank you for this opportunity here to honor these young women. We thank you for the volunteers who have spent countless hours putting events like this together. We hope that you give these young women strength and confidence as they go through life, and we are grateful for the opportunity we have here to help them improve and grow and become strong young women and leaders of our country. Amen. Amen.
Once again, I just wanted to say thank you so much to Michelle and Patty for throwing a wonderful 2016 Coronation Ball. A round of applause for Patty and Michelle. Thank you so much. And now we're going to be getting on to the rest of the program. At this time, it is our pleasure to introduce the Mistress of Ceremonies for the evening, Miss L.B. Munoz. L.B. is a Windsor native and a 1993 Shad Derby Queen. L.B. has traveled extensively throughout the United States, first studying theater at Emerson College before finishing her studies in education at the University of North Texas. Her passion for food and wine led her to a position touring the country as a corporate trainer for one of the nation's premier fine dining empires. Her need to create brought L.B. to Real Art Ways in 2007. There, her hospitality experience and sense of adventure gave rise to the Oddball, as well as many other outrageous and successful events, earning her the official title of Vibe Manager. L.B. returned to the Max Restaurant Group this fall as their catering sales manager. Food is important to L.B., but so is social justice. The death of a friend while at Windsor High inspired L.B. to take a stand against hate and intolerance. She makes time to work as a diversity educator for the Anti-Defamation League, where she endeavors to empower students and communities to come together through embracing their differences. She continues this advocacy at Real Art Ways as a facilitator for their civil rights and social change youth education programs. L.B. is one of 3 founders of the annual free community performance Nightfall, a uniquely Hartford celebration featuring singing, dancing, costume character, and giant puppets, which you'll actually be seeing on Derby Day as well. For her part in the creation of Nightfall as a non-for-profit LLC, she won the 2015 Hartford Young Professionals Entrepreneurship Award from the Metro Hartford Alliance. This is L.B.'s 4th Coronation Ball, therefore proving it's true what they say, the Shad duo is returned. Now please join me in welcoming L.B. Munoz.
Familiar. I might have been here a few times before. The last time would have been in 2009 when I was fortunate enough to be asked to be a judge for the Shad Derby. Before that would have been 1994 when I was lucky enough to come back from college and crown the new queen, and in 1993 when I was fortunate enough to wear the crown. So I'm pretty good on this event. It brings back a lot of memories for me though, and it brings back me back to a very specific place in time when it was Derby days for me. Derby season, my senior year, was all-encompassing, took up all of my time, and was absolutely delightful. First, of course, is the quest for the dress. And my mother and I probably scoured every single shop in Connecticut looking for a dress. And then when Connecticut wouldn't suffice, we went to New York, and then New Jersey, and then Pennsylvania. And somewhere around north of DC, we found the dress. But it wasn't really about the dress, right? It was about spending that much time with my mom, knowing that I was going to be leaving the nest soon, knowing that this was going to be the end of our quality time together. So Shad Derby brought me closer to my mom. But there was also time spent with the other candidates. And we were such a disparate group of people, very different people from different neighborhoods and different activities. And we all found this commonality in being Shad Derby candidates. And we became close, and all I can tell you is there was laughter.
There was so much laughter. We really supported each other. We really got to know each other, and we really got to understand who we were as individuals. And so the people who had never met before in a cafeteria suddenly became best friends. We had each other's backs. We made sure that the lipstick was off each other's teeth. We learned to walk in heels together. We picked each other up when we fell, and we rooted for each other. We were rooting so hard for our friends to win. And I think it's important that to this day, those 15 girls and I are all still in contact. We became so close, and of the 15 of us, 6 of us became educators, 8 of us became moms, 1 became a rocket scientist, 1 became a reality TV star, 2 became nurses, and 1 of us stands here today to carry on the tradition, to celebrate these young women who are going to become our future. Make no mistake, we are not at a beauty pageant today, because this isn't about beauty, because beauty fades. This is about things that last. This is about humor, this is about humility, this is about grace and friendship. My hope is that for these young ladies, that they carry that with them, that the confidence that they've gained in this experience and the friendships that they've made will go with them throughout time, and that they will be able to carry this little piece of Windsor in their hearts forever. So, now it is time to introduce to you your candidates. Welcome to our 2016 Shad Derby Queen candidates. Iris Infancho, Miss Windsor Federal Savings, escorted by Jamel Foster. Miss Valari's Martial Arts of Windsor, escorted by Marcus Moyer. Atia Almagro, Miss Cronin and Murphy Dentist, escorted by Nathan Nugent. Roisin Coleman, Miss Windsor Kiwanis Club. Bridget Akon, Miss Ashley's Distinctive Jewelry and Gifts, escorted by Isaiah Bernard. Katia Mateus, Miss Berkshire Hathaway, escorted by Robert School. Madison Lee, Miss Physical Therapy and Sports Medical Center. Miss Windsor JC is escorted by Andrew Fenton. Caitlin Crossick, Miss Elaine Exchange Club of Windsor, escorted by Alex Cheney. Kaylee Bousquet, Miss Jordan and Young Dental LLC, escorted by Tyson Bryce. Melissa Carvalho, Miss Dr. Robert Gandy, DDS, escorted by Edmund Diaz. Samantha DeHaze, Miss Dom's Broad Street Eatery. Anna Nebraska Miss Bill Sealy Jewelers Inc., escorted by Addison Abbott. Yasmin Schwayhat, Miss Hairdresser on Fire. Catherine Lewis, Miss Century 21 All Points Realty, escorted by Benjamin Sarbalski. Tristan Kajak, Miss Union Street Tavern, escorted by Kevin Kajak. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your 2016 Shad Derby Queen candidates. Each of these ladies has prepared an essay in response to the following statement. Mahatma Gandhi once said, "Be the change you want to see in the world." What are some changes you want to see in the world around you? How will these changes make the world or your hometown a better place? First up, Tristan Kajak, Miss Union Street Tavern.
You want to see in the world, you need to pay attention to what is happening around you. I have always admired Malala Yousafzai, an 18-year-old girl from Pakistan who was shot in the head by the Taliban for simply attending school and standing up for the right for other girls to do so as well. Like Malala, I believe education is the most valuable tool and implore everyone to take it seriously. I have observed several students who neglect to do their schoolwork. A change I want to see is that everyone takes school seriously and has the drive and determination to succeed in order to reach their dreams. No dream is handed to you, you must use your education and aspire to reach higher. As Malala said, let us remember, one book, one pen, one child, and one teacher can change the world. Another change that needs to happen in this world is for everyone to realize the importance of others. I would like to see people motivated, not by praise or money, but by compassion and concern for others because service is the right thing to do. A great example of this is the Union Street Tavern, who has for the past 10 years put on the Tavern Trot to raise money for Alice's Lemonade Foundation. These things inspire me to work hard and use my talents and energy to study cancer research so that I can join the fight to end pediatric cancer. Lastly, it is key to remember that materials and fame will not last forever. Having wealth or the latest phone can never take the place of your friends or your family. So many people are focused on getting new followers on Instagram or Twitter or having the newest clothes, but how we connect and interact with people is the most valuable thing of all. At the end of your life, your money and success will only matter if it was used to better the lives of others, because materials are temporary, but friendship and love is permanent. Thank you to my sponsor, the Union Street Tavern, for giving me this amazing experience.
Next, we have Catherine Lewis, Miss Century 21, All Things Realty.
evening guests, Shad Derby Committee, and Century 21. Across the globe, the core subjects of math, language arts, science, and history are taught to be the basis of success in real-world knowledge. Every country with a public education system pushes the value of creativity aside when standardized test scores drop and panic sets in. We've grown too comfortable accepting budget cuts in the arts as today's reality. Think about your children, your grandchildren, students, younger siblings. Think about the times they've completely surprised you. Time after time, we watch them take chances, make mistakes, and continue to take risks. These kids are fearless. They are simply unafraid to fail. So, why don't we pride ourselves in learning from kids as much as we do from teaching them? 97% of U.S. employers say creativity is of increasing importance to them. 85% of employers looking to hire creative people say they are unable to find the applicants they seek. These are innovators, thinkers, inventors, and adventurers, yet our education model is sculpting their minds for a much more narrow future. I find it interesting when I watch eyebrows raised when I say I'm minoring in art. Talent is as diverse and unique as any one of us. I want a world that embraces imagination, the root of creativity. When I think about changing the world, I don't mean to say the core subjects are unimportant. I think about recognizing the severity of a generation that is educated out of their aptitude. Sir Ken Robinson stated, "Many highly talented, brilliant, creative people think that they're not, because the thing they were good at in school wasn't valued or was actually stigmatized." I wish to see a revolution of dream chasers who can determine their own success. With the combination of talent, passion, and support like right here in Windsor, I believe that we can truly make this happen. Thank you and enjoy your evening.
Yasmin Shwayhat, Miss Hairdresser on Fire.
Good evening. Think of all the problems in the world. Syrian refugees, the Zika virus, internet traffic, really long lines at Disney World. Every major problem you can think of is because of overpopulation, and there's no easy solution. Sure, we could nuke a third of the world's population or colonize the moon, but I think we should stay away from those options. With overpopulation comes food and water shortages, loss of natural fuel, accelerated destruction of the ozone layer, extreme pollution, high risk of war, crazy economic tolls, species extinctions, loss of personal freedom, and more. Since 1970, the world's population has doubled, and right now it's growing at a scarily fast rate of 1.13% per year. We are expected to reach 8 billion people by 2024, and almost 10 billion by 2050. We are killing this world more every day, and maintaining a huge population will only speed that up. The only way to fix this problem is to educate people about it. Let people know what's going on. Show them how imperative it is that we do something. Encourage them to educate others. Do what I'm doing right now. We also need to provide useful sex education and make birth control more available. Many American schools teach abstinence. Well, considering the fact that the United States has the third highest teen pregnancy rate in the world, we see how well that's going. Instead, teach students how to practice safe sex and direct them towards feminist sex ed resources. Inform them of family planning and making good choices. Almost 40% of all pregnancies worldwide are unplanned. We can decrease this number by making birth control more accessible and more affordable. Give women a say over their own bodies and don't subject them to an unwanted fate. Overpopulation is a global issue, and it requires a global commitment to making a change. We want to see environmental and economic recovery, but with our current human density, I know we'll never get the chance. On that lovely note, I'd like to thank everybody I've ever met, especially my amazing sponsor, Hairdresser on Fire. Thank you.
Hannah Napworkowski, Miss Bill Selig Jewelers, Inc.
Hello, everyone. Growing up in middle-class suburbia, I knew I always had plenty to eat when I came home. And because of this privilege, I never really understood what it meant to be starving. In my 12 years of schooling, I was always taught about the world's issues. However, I was never taught how to combat these issues. Nevertheless, I knew I had to find my own way to make a difference in the world. Since 2012, I've made a habit of participating in the town's crop walk against hunger, food shares walk in Hartford, making turkey boxes with my church, and even prepping and serving meals at the Men's Immaculate Shelter in Hartford. But I know this is only a portion of what I should be doing. My most important task is to spread awareness. And yes, I realize that Windsor is a rather fortunate town, and there isn't many traces of need, but that does not mean that it is not out there. As one of this town's members, I am really concerned that we are becoming negligent to this war against hunger. Currently, there are about 925 million people starving in the world. And I've made it my goal to make sure that these people are spoken for. However, I must not be the only one to take charge. Hunger is a huge issue in the world, and whether it be in Burundi, Eritrea, or even here in Hartford County, we must all take a stand. A wise man once said, "Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing's going to get better." It's not. Yes, I realize this is a quote from the Lorax, but I think Dr. Seuss was onto something here. I truly believe that it takes a lot of care and devotion for anything to change for the better. I plan to continue my service in battling hunger, but others must help me in my goal. It may seem naive to dream so big, but I know I'm not the only one who wants to make sure that everyone has enough. Windsor is only the beginning. Imagine what an impact we could have on the world if everyone cared. I would like to extend a thank you to my sponsor, Bill Selig Jewelers, and the town of Windsor for this wonderful opportunity. Thanks again, and enjoy your evening.
Samantha DeHaze, Miss Dom's Broad Street Jewelry.
Good evening. I think we can all agree that the idea of changing the world is extremely daunting. But the truth is, we are the generation of the future, and we are going to have an impact on how the world changes. We are going to have jobs that don't even exist right now because we are so much more equipped to technology and innovation than past generations. But it is still our job to do more. I plan on contributing to making that difference through advanced fabrics. Engineered fabrics that see, hear, sense, and communicate serve multiple industries, with medical and environmental advances being at the forefront of what makes people's lives stronger, safer, healthier, and improves their overall quality of life. Imagine how comforting it would be for parents to know that there's a maternity shirt that can monitor their unborn baby's vital signs, or a onesie that can record an infant's breathing patterns and send warnings to prevent SIDS. But fibers might also be used to improve environmental problems, such as a solar-powered shirt that can charge your phone, or cloth that purifies sweat and filtrates it into fresh water. Many people might wonder how any of this is even possible, but it is, because our generation is going to leave its mark on the world through new innovations in technology, and I plan on being at the forefront of such advances with the goal of changing the world one fiber at a time. Thank you to my sponsor, Dom's Broad Street Eatery, for this amazing opportunity, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Larissa Carvalho and Miss Dr. Robert Ganji.
Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. This quote by Nelson Mandela truly illustrates that getting an education is one of the greatest opportunities and vehicles for children to succeed. However, the issue is that not everyone receives an equal education. The reality is that there are inequalities in society, and those disparities impact the educational system. Diversity should be embraced, whether that is in the students' learning differences or is in the difference between race, religion, or economic status. Despite the need to embrace diversity, schools struggle with equality due, in large part, to the economic inequities present in many communities. All schools should have access to the same resources, programs, and materials. However, that is not always the case. In order to be a powerful weapon, communities need to invest equally in schools. Every school teacher should commit to providing children with an equal and beneficial education to ready them for the world. This is where I see myself having an impact. As someone who plans on becoming an elementary school teacher, I believe that all my students should have a strong educational foundation. As a teacher, I want to inspire my students to be successful and to be able to choose whatever career or path they want to pursue. This will in turn benefit the community and improve our world. Just like I know I'm 5'1", but can be 5'6" by slipping on heels, I know with the lift of encouragement, my students can fill the shoes whatever passions they want to follow. I would like to give a special thank you to Dr. Robert Ganji for sponsoring me throughout this journey and putting the smile on my face to instill confidence in me to be here tonight.
Kaylee Bousquet, Miss Jordan and Young Dental, LLC.
Good evening. There are a lot of things in this world that need changing, but people are what make those changes happen. The thing that I want to change in the world are people's lives so that these changes can continue. We never know what person is going to come up with the next great idea or invent the next life-changing thing. But what we do know about people and ourselves is that we all require help at some point. I want to be the person that helps. In my own life, I, along with multiple family members, have needed to go to the hospital for medical attention. Some for more serious reasons, and for myself because I broke my wrist falling out of a tree. However, what's different about my experiences going to the hospital is that instead of being afraid, I felt really inspired and in awe of the hardworking environment and people around me. The job of someone in medicine is solely to help others in one way or another. Medical professionals change lives, and I want to do that. As I go forward in my life to pursue a career in medicine as a physician assistant, my plan is to treat and care for people so that they can live the best lives possible. You never know who you're helping and what they might do to change the world. Take, for example, Dr. Stephen Hawking. He suffers from ALS, but with the help of medical professionals, he's been able to continue living a very successful life where he has discovered incredible things about our universe. So, while it may seem like I'm not planning on bringing big changes into the world myself, I would disagree because keeping people healthy ensures that their ideas are possible and have the potential to change the world. Before I go, I would like to give a very special thanks to my sponsor, Jordan and Young Dental, for giving me this wonderful opportunity. I can honestly say that this has been one of the most memorable experiences, and without their support, none of this would have been possible for me. Thank you.
Caitlin Crossett, Miss Exchange Club of Windsor.
Good evening. There are so many changes in this world I want to see. However, the one that is most important to me is gender equality. Despite many successes in empowering women, like allowing women in most countries to vote, numerous issues still exist in all areas of life, ranging from the cultural and political to the economic. Gender discrimination affects women and girls throughout their lifetime, and they are often the ones who suffer the most poverty. In the United States today, women have the right to an education, the right to vote, and the right to whatever job they want. That is a huge improvement compared to how they used to be treated, but there are still many issues they face, such as the objectification of their bodies and the wage gap. There are also countries where women and girls are not afforded these rights, as well as many more, like the right to a proper education past primary or secondary school. I've been in school for at least 12 years, and I am very lucky for that. Other girls my age and younger are not as lucky. 31 million girls were no longer in school by the time they reached lower secondary school age in 2013. And that, to me, is truly disheartening. On top of that, 55% of marriages that occur in the world are arranged marriages, and 48% of the girls in those marriages are under the age of 18. Women should have the right to marry whomever they choose, and they should not have to marry before they can even vote. A change needs to be made in the basic rights of the gender that makes up more than half the world's population. There is no reason why women should be seen as anything less than what they are, whether they live here in the United States or in any other country. Getting these rights for women will hopefully pave the path for lots of change in the world, and it's possible that it will incite change in all areas of social justice. I hope that someday, within my lifetime, I'm able to see women all around the world get the rights that they deserve, and I hope that I can be a leader in that change. Thank you so much for your time, and once again, thank you to the Exchange Club of Windsor for getting me here and giving me this wonderful opportunity.
Miss Windsor J.C.
As I stand here with 15 beautiful, intelligent, and wonderful women beside me, I think about how we should support and encourage each other for no other reason than the fact that we are all women. But this does not happen. TV and the media take every opportunity to broadcast female confrontation with the desired results of boosting their ratings. Physical as well as verbal confrontations among females are prevalent. Fights occur at a regular basis at Windsor High School, becoming increasingly more frequent in the recent weeks. Sites like World Star Hip Hop glorifies physical confrontation, making it a competition to see who can make the best punch to get the most views. But what these women fail to realize is how demeaning this truly is. They are stripping themselves of their natural beauty and grace. Social media has changed the way we as a generation interact with each other. Posting a picture to Instagram has turned into an art form. Posing at just the right angle, showing just enough skin to receive the maximum amount of likes. We have allowed the number of likes on our pictures to determine our self-confidence. Instilling our self-confidence in the opinions of others, the number of likes on our pictures, the time it takes someone to tap their screens just twice. If we women do not respect ourselves and our fellow women, how can we expect men to respect us? We must stop tearing each other down. We must stop attacking each other to boost our own self-confidence. If I could make one change to this world, I would change how we as women interact with each other.
Although I understand we will never always agree, we must respect each other's opinions. We must support and encourage each other. We must inspire each other and instill confidence in each other. I challenge every woman in this room, including myself, to compliment another woman at least once a day. It could make her smile for a second, or it could change her life. In closing, I would like to thank the Windsor JCs for giving me the opportunity to make my childhood dream come true.
Madison Lee, Miss Physical Therapy and Sports Medical.
Good evening. According to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, contagion is a process by which a disease is passed from one person to another by touching. When we think about the word contagion, the first thing that often comes to mind is the common cold. However, contagion isn't always something negative. There's a lot of progress going on in the world around us, and the only way for that progress to be effective is if it is contagious. Imagine if Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was not contagious. Where would we be in regards to civil rights? Or imagine if the efforts of the Windsor Board of Education were not contagious. We wouldn't have half of the amazing benefits that we have in our school system. Currently, it seems easier for people to hate than it is to love, easier to criticize than to compliment, and most heartbreaking to me, easier to frown than to smile. On the surface, negativity seems much more contagious than positivity. But before we're able to make big changes in this world, we need to have a more open mind. One Friday evening, I was at church welcoming people in for a revival, and a woman stopped me and said, "Wow, your welcoming smile really changed my evening. Thank you." From that day forward, my daily slogan has been, changing the world one smile at a time. At Windsor High School, I believe a simple smile could change the struggling relationships between some teachers and some students. In the world, the changes are endless. Now, I know smiles won't cure cancer or the hunger epidemic, but smiles are the start. They bring people together, welcome people in, and allow people to feel comfortable. And those are the things that we need to make the bigger changes in our world. So I'm testing you all right now. Turn to your left or to your right and just smile. Now take that smile and pass it on, because you never know what change your smile will spark. It might even be contagious. Thank you again to Brian Bowe and the staff of Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine Centers for your sponsorship.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here tonight. When I thought about Gandhi's quote, "Be the change you want to see in the world," what I immediately thought would make the greatest difference in our country is changing our nation's diet. Did you know that up to 70% of our diet in the U.S. is made of processed foods? These are bags, cans, and boxes that we put in our kitchens every day that are drenched in excess sodium, glucose, and fat solvents. Now, not only is this causing our country to be one of the top 10 fattest countries in the world, this issue is hitting me much closer to home. My sister has Crohn's disease, which is an autoimmune disease, and recent studies have found a link between processed foods to increased numbers in autoimmune disease diagnoses. The National Institute of Health estimates that 23.5 million Americans
are suffering from autoimmune diseases, and this number is rising rapidly. By making our food healthier, it will not only improve the health of millions of Americans, but also help us financially. Our country's care for autoimmune diseases costs up to $70.6 billion annually. And I don't know what you all think, but that seems a bit steep to me. So when I think about what matters most to me and what I think would benefit us most as a country is doing more to keep our food supply healthy and chemical free. Thank you to Berkshire Hathaway Home Services for sponsoring me throughout this amazing experience, and thank you all.
Good evening, everyone. Windsor's strength is its diversity. Windsor is a town with welcoming people of many races and religious beliefs, with many friendly businesses all around town. Many of those businesses are owned and operated by women entrepreneurs. Unfortunately, there is still a huge wage gap that exists between the earnings of men and women all over the world. Think of a world where little girls' dreams are to run a Fortune 500 company earning the same pay as males. The Equal Pay Act has been in law for over 50 years. It is time that law is strengthened and enforced. Representation matters in all levels of society, especially in the boardroom. As a future business major who one day hopes to have an executive level position, I deserve to be compensated for the quality of work that I produce, not by a set standard of pay for women. Gandhi once said, "Be the change you want to be in the world." I am preparing myself to become a woman of distinction in the business world by participating in many leadership opportunities provided by Windsor High and at college, so that one day I will be able to obtain an executive level position in a Fortune 500 company like Ursula Burns. Award-winning actress Viola Davis once said, "The only thing that separates women of color from anyone else is opportunity." I would like to add that the only thing that separates successful women executives from male counterparts is equal pay and opportunities. I want to thank Ashley's distinctive jewelry and gifts for giving me the opportunity to be a part of this amazing experience to enjoy numerous Shad Derby events and festivities. Thank you.
Roisin Coleman, Miss Windsor Kiwanis.
Good evening. Imagine if I was giving this speech, but instead of looking out at all of you, I stared down at my phone and started scrolling through Kim Kardashian's Instagram page. Needless to say, most of you would be quite offended and annoyed. We've all been with someone who spends more time on their phone than with you. To use lame pun here, these folks are quite phony. However, the truth is most of us are guilty of the same thing. As we become consumed by our devices, our lives have been interrupted by the constant need to stay connected with people we're not even with. We spend more time capturing and updating our lives through Facebook, Snapchat, and text than actually living it with the people around us. It's time to change our relationship status with our phones. Life is too short not to give anyone less than 100% of our attention. By being mindful, you can enjoy your food more, enjoy your present company more, and enjoy every person you're with more. In my own life, I made a personal commitment to this change. With my best friends, it's a no phone zone. Unless my mom called me where I am, I don't pick up the phone on other people. By putting down my phone when I'm with others, I show others I appreciate them, and I have more fun. Oh, and here's something to try when you're out at dinner. Whoever picks up the phone first pays the dinner bill. Now, we shouldn't scrap our phones altogether. I'm not saying that. But we shouldn't live a separate life online. Because while our phones claim to connect us, the real connections that matter the most have been lost through text and status updates. I encourage you to all put down your phone and actually experience what's happening around you. You enjoy life and conversation more than just adding a nice filter on it. It sounds too simple, but just putting down your phone. I would like to verbally thank the community, my family, and the Kiwanis Key Club for this wonderful opportunity tonight. Thank you.
Atia Almagro, Miss Cronin and Murphy Henges.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The world as we know it is a small fraction of a vast galaxy. However, it would not take astronomical effects to make an assembly of men see eye to eye with a group of women. The world is not an equal place, whether it be socioeconomic status, religion, or ethnicity. One thing that remains concurrent through all facets of life is women being secondary to men. Since the beginning of time, societies have different designs as to gender roles and responsibilities, but through the years of human development, women being treated as lesser beings to their male counterparts has become the dominating social trend. All over the world, women and young girls are victims of the dominating male force, holding them down and preaching that they have no value. The savagery of this treatment ranges from country to country, whether it be physical abuse or messages from the media. Women are taught they are less. We are weak, gentle, unqualified, or devalued. I would like to one day walk around as myself, an Afro-Caribbean American young lady with my gender not holding me back from any opportunities I seek in college and beyond. Once women are not seen as a separate minority, double standards and social standards will fade away. In countries that treat women with the least respect, female babies should not be thrown away. Women should not be raped without punishment. Women should not be bound by expectations not held by men. In a world without such hindrances on female growth, women will be fellow members in any prestigious position, often barred from female influence. Women would not be discouraged to pursue careers classically attributed to men. Being a woman should not be a bad thing. Women should be valued based on our genuine skills, intelligence, and grace, not unlike that of men. The integrity of being a female should be preserved, because every day a young girl being born could fail to live up to her fullest potential. Not because she won't try, but because negativity and doubt in her abilities won't let her. Thank you, Dr. Coronation Murphy of Windsor Family Dentists, for allowing me to have this amazing opportunity.
Good evening, everyone. I know when we are all faced with the harsh realities of the world we live in, we wish that there was something that we could do to make the world a better place. The amazing thing is that we all can do something small to see this change that everyone is hoping for. Thus far in my life, I have been trying to leave my mark and change the world so that it is a wonderful place for everyone. It is so difficult to watch the news and see how hard it is for the people living in Flint and how they are denied the right to clean water, along with many other people that go day to day without a regular meal, water, or a home. Everyone in the world should have access to resources that are needed to live. Out of all the changes in the world, this is a major one, because if everyone has equal access to the same basic resources, there will be less people having to resort to extreme means to support their families. Equal resources are important. However, another change I would like to see is equality for everyone. The world would have a lot less conflict if everyone felt equal to one another, no matter their gender, race, or religion. It is not fair that men are still paid more than women, and that it is more likely for a white person to get a job over a black person. We need to change the way we perceive people that are different, and that will allow us to be more tolerant and understanding. This will help our world function better because everyone will feel like they have an equal and important role.
These little changes that everyone can take a part in will help improve our world tremendously. If we are all provided with the same resources needed to survive and treated equally, then we will have a more unified world. Thank you to my sponsor, Valaris, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Miss Windsor Federal Savings.
Good evening. Mahatma Gandhi once said, "Be the change you want to see in the world." Be it. See it. A big part of seeing the change that you want is to let others be inspired by what they see in you. For a long time in my dreams, I didn't see myself because people on TV screens didn't reflect my life, my identity. It took years to fully accept that my experiences were valid. I thought it was me who needed changing. Sadly, I have many friends who relate to this. Representation matters, and we are seeing more people stand up to the media and demand diversity. We're putting forth an effort to embrace differences. However, there is more to be done. I want to provide young people worldwide with the resources that they need to create and innovate. If something doesn't satisfy you, media or otherwise, you need access to tools so you can fix it yourself. There are passionate students all over the world who are hindered to the point of having to abandon their passions. Low income and social status play a huge part in this. I'd like to collaborate with these students and create forums that break barriers and amplify the voices of those in need. Luckily, Windsor has given me this through Windsor High's involvement with the National Conference for Community and Justice, study circles, and much more. Not every town has these options. I want to use the skills that I have to show others their potential. If they can see their potential, they can be the change they always wished for. I'd like to thank my friends, my family, and my sponsor, Windsor Federal Savings. Good night.
Thank you to our candidates and our judges. And let's have a collective wow. That was pretty amazing. Judges will now leave the room to determine the winners. Tonight's musical entertainment is provided by Jim Aldridge of Romantic Entertainment of Windsor. We would now like to invite the candidates and their escorts to enjoy the first dance. After the first dance, we would like all of the guests to enjoy the dancing.
Yeah.
Welcome back. At this time, I'd like to have the candidates re-enter the room. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome once again our 2016 Shad Derby Queen candidates. And now, please join me in welcoming our 2015 Shad Derby Queen. Ellie Moore is a 2015 Windsor High School graduate who recently completed a successful freshman year at Ohio University in Athens, Ohio. She was enrolled in the university's Scripps College of Communications, where she's majoring in commercial photography and has been a contributor to the OU campus newspaper, The Post, and has been a featured photographer in the fashion magazine Thread. She also hosts her own website, showcasing not only examples of her commercial pursuits, but pictures reflecting her interest in a wide variety of subjects. It was during her time at Windsor High that Ellie developed a deep interest in social environmental activism and has grown that passion while in Ohio. She will start her sophomore year as president of the Ohio University Bee Corps, an initiative focused on research of the global decline of bee populations and public education of this far-reaching problem, and as a member of several campus organizations dedicated to addressing the issue of sexual assaults occurring on school campuses. Both of these pursuits were seeded at Windsor High, where she was an active participant in the Reptile Club and instrumental in the reformation of the Windsor High Feminist Club. A four-year member of the Windsor High varsity girls swim team, serving as co-captain her senior year, Ellie continues to swim in Ohio during her free time and will be returning to High Meadow Day Camp as a lifeguard this summer. She is thankful for all that she's learned as a Shad Derby candidate and will be forever proud to have served as the 2015 Queen. She wishes all the best to all the candidates in all that they do, both now and in their individual journeys. Please welcome the first Shad Derby legacy family, Ellie and her escort, Kaylin Moore.
So if I leave right now, do I stay queen? Is that the thing? Good evening, everyone. Wow, I can't believe it's been a year already. I seriously cannot believe it. So much has changed in this past year. I packed up my entire life and moved out of one small town to another small town, but I didn't think I would miss Windsor as much as I did. It wasn't even missing my family and small group of friends. I missed everything that made Windsor my home. The way the owls call out during spring and fall, being able to hear the train through my open window, even the way the grass fell on my feet in the center of town. I craved all the things that made Windsor this perfect small town. But despite being in different states, Athens, Ohio, and Windsor, Connecticut aren't as different as you may think. For starters, neither knows where the other one is. I mean, we all know where Ohio is, but where is Athens? Most people know where Connecticut is, but where is Windsor? I've actually gotten pretty good at US geography from the amount of times I've had to describe where either state or town is. Another thing they share is a strong sense of community, from flourishing small businesses and local art fairs to the people known by everyone in town. Athens reminds me of home. Athens welcomed me with open arms and warm smiles, such as Windsor does every time I come back. And that's what I truly love about it here. No matter where you go or who you become, Windsor will always be here for you. I mean, where else can you gather in a town center and celebrate the migration of a fish? Explaining this tradition is kind of difficult because we're all so used to it happening. If you stop and think about the Shad Derby, it's a little bit out there. In one of my classes during the first week of school, we had to write down 2 truths and 1 lie about ourselves, and everyone else in the class had to guess which was which. I tried putting down that I was Shad Derby Queen in ways that everyone would understand. Hello, my name is Ellie. I once shaved my eyebrows off for a dare. I went to state finals for swimming, and I'm technically queen of a fish. Apparently, me shaving off my eyebrows was more believable than being a fish queen. After explaining that Shad Derby is a celebration of the shad and that each year we praise it by crowning a queen and having a parade, people seemed less confused, but not really. When you talk about the process to become Shad Derby Queen, everyone thinks it's a pageant and are immediately turned away by it. But pageants judge on beauty and talent, but becoming queen is so much more than that. The Shad Derby pageant looks at community service, personal achievement, and how each girl has made her own Windsor experience the best. Every single girl up here tonight is a prime example of the type of woman we need in the world. They're independent, smart, determined, and honestly inspiring. By participating in Shad Derby, they're not just dressing up and getting pretty to show off for the judges. They're showing that they have what it takes to be the change in the world. And also, by going through this, a lot can be learned. After being crowned queen, I learned that I'm as good as everyone else. For a long time, I was told by people that I wasn't as smart as them, not as successful as them, and that I didn't even have a good chance to become queen. But moments after being crowned, everything they had said proved to be false. I was as smart, as successful, and as worthy as them. I look back on it now, and that night taught me more than I thought it would. Throughout this year, whenever I would be faced with a challenge, I would stop and think that I was Shad Derby Queen, and even if it made sense to literally no one else, it made sense to me. So, as you girls graduate high school and move on to a new part of your life, keep these things in mind. 1, don't be afraid to step outside of your box. College may seem like this giant, scary environment where people are trying to be better than you, but it's honestly not. If your dorm is having a game of capture the flag, go outside and play it. If there's tie-dyeing in the quad, grab a white t-shirt and sit next to someone you don't know. 2, Join clubs on campus. You like board games? There's probably a club for that. You want to write for a newspaper? There's most likely a club for that too. And if there's not a club for something that you like, make one. Just get as involved as you can. And finally, don't ever stop trying. Things are going to get difficult, and you might ask yourself what you're doing with your life as you sit awake at 3 a.m. eating microwave pizza and watching Grey's Anatomy. But I promise everything will fall into place as long as you put in the effort. The late nights at the library and countless study groups will all be worth it when you can breeze through your finals. Don't stop trying, seek help if you need it, and don't be afraid to find a shoulder to cry on. I will leave you all with words of wisdom said by the late, great David Bowie. I don't know where I'm going from here, but I promise it won't be boring. Thank you to everyone who came out, especially my lovely family, my lovely sponsor, and all these lovely ladies. Thank you.
I'd like to introduce and welcome our official auditor for the 2016 Shad Derby, Timothy Carmen.
Can I move this back up?
No, you don't have to. Just talk. Just talk.
All right, good evening. In my hand, I have the results of the 2016 Shad Derby. The Mary Ellen Messina Award, the Vince Scully Memorial Award, Miss Congeniality, First Princess, Second Princess, Princess Royale, and your Queen. As the auditor of the Shad Derby, it's my job to remain independent of the judges and the contestants, tabulate the judges' scores after each event, and present the winner to the MC at tonight's event. I'm grateful that the committee asked me back again this year, as it's a privilege to listen to these 16 young women talk about their diverse talents, backgrounds, and experiences. Every year, I take something away from what the contestants have shared, and it helps me to reflect on my own life. Realizing that I'm what stands between you and the results being announced tonight, I want to take just a few minutes to talk about how each of these honors is determined. As I mentioned, 5 designations will be awarded: Miss Congeniality, First Princess, Second Princess, Princess Royale, and the Queen. And 2 special awards, the Mary Ellen Messina Award and the Vince Scully Memorial Award. Mary Ellen Messina Award is determined by the judges based on an essay written by each of the contestants. Each judge looks at the content of the essay and how well each lady expressed herself in her community service involvement. The Vince Scully Memorial Award is given to the contestant who demonstrated their support and involvement throughout this year's Shad Derby events and most closely encapsulated the spirit and dedication Vince had to this timeless tradition. Miss Congeniality is awarded to the contestant who received the most number of votes from among her peers. Each of the contestants was asked to cast 1 vote on who they believed was most deserving of the title Miss Congeniality. The young lady with the most votes will be honored as the favorite among her peers. And the winner of Miss Congeniality is going to be announced a little bit later. I do that every year and it seems to still go over. The next 4 honors are awarded to the top 4 ladies who have received the highest number of votes from the judges throughout the process. The scores are comprised of 3 judges' votes over 3 separate nights, this being the final night. I want to take you back to a night in early March. The contestants met the judges for the first time and were asked to deliver a 1-minute speech about themselves and their interests. We heard about their love for art, drama, music, and videos. They spoke about coaching youth soccer, Little League, helping out at food banks, and at the Historical Society, and on mission trips. They highlighted their volleyball, cheerleading, skiing, and swimming careers. And most of all, some shared about their support system, which is many of you in this room. These speeches introduced the young ladies as they are and proved to the judges it would be another difficult year. This round comprised 15% of the contestants' overall score and is based on the presentation of the speech, their poise, and their appearance. In late March, the second round kicked off here at the Windsor Marriott, and it comprised 60% of the contestants' overall score. Each candidate met individually with a panel of judges for a 10 to 15 minute question and answer session. Each lady was asked 4 questions. If you could change one event in history during your lifetime, what would it be? If you had $25,000 to improve your school or your community, how would you spend the money? What have you learned in your extracurricular activities that has influenced who you are today? And finally, do you believe Apple should work with the government to create a backdoor into its products to prevent terrorism? These questions help the judges see what is important to these ladies and understand a little bit about who they are. The judges heard about the passions they have for promoting Windsor's history, helping children, improving the arts, curing cancer, enhancing technology in schools, raising diversity awareness, improving the environment, helping those with disabilities, and most importantly, improving school lunches. They heard about the impact of sports, clubs, and organizations in their lives, and how these experiences shaped who they are. They discussed terrorism and privacy, and the importance of keeping the government out of our lives, while balancing the need to have the government protect our country. Throughout the evening, I wrote down simple phrases that they used, and I think it summarizes who they are, so I want to share some of them. I am creative. I am peppy and assertive. I'm an outgoing goofball. I love to spin in my pink tutu. Diversity is who I am. Take one day at a time. I am the band mom. Love and adventure. I am a gentle giant. Happiness is success. Sometimes you need to take one for the team. Not everyone will like you. If you are passionate about something, push through and pursue it. Think of the team over yourself. Pushing through makes you stronger, overcome your faults, and use your ability to help others. Wow. These ladies opened up their lives and told their story, allowing the judges to get another glimmer into who they are. Each judge then scored based on community and school involvement, outside interests, knowledge of current events, appearance, poise, personality, and attitude. Finally, the culmination of all the judging occurred this evening. Each contestant was asked to write an essay, as you heard, and each judge cast their final vote based on the essay, the poise, and their appearance. This will comprise the remaining 25% of their overall score. As you can see tonight, and as the judges and I have heard throughout the competition, they all have stories we can learn from. We should all be proud of them and proud of the many people in this room whose support and encouragement has molded them into who they are today. To have programs like this for over 50 years, and to build a tradition that is so ingrained in the community that young girls look to this night in anticipation and excitement for years, and hope that one day they can stand where all of you are. It's unique, but it's wonderful. To have a community full of businesses and organizations that help to showcase the talent of its residents is unfortunately not too common. So I thank you. I thank you all for your support of the Shad Derby, supporting these young women, and giving us all the opportunity to have a view into the future of this town, the future of our state, and the future of our great nation. And now before I turn it back over to the MC, the LB, I want to remind you of something that happened earlier this year with Steve Harvey at the Miss Universe pageant. You may recall he announced the wrong winner at the end, so I have clearly written the winners on these cards, so I assure you there will be no issues. So, thank you, and let's continue with the
No pressure. I'd like to invite Kristen Hoffman and Neil Sashdev back to the podium to present the Vincent Scully Memorial Award. Vincent Scully was my neighbor, and his daughter was my cheerleading coach, so this is kind of special for me too. So, Kristen and Neil.
Well, thank you so much. Before we get started, I just have a quick PowerPoint presentation, just 15 to 20 minutes. Shouldn't take too long. All right, just a little bit about the history of the Shad Derby. I'm kidding. All right, well, we're just here to present the first award tonight, and we're very pleased to do it. It's in honor of a former festival chair. This award is named after Vincent Scully, a longtime Windsor resident, business owner, past Shad Derby Festival chair, and an over 30-year sponsor of Queen's candidates. It rewards one candidate's civic involvement through fundraising and participation, primarily the candidate that attends the most eligible Shad Derby events in 2016 and obtains the largest number of participants for the Shad Derby bowling fundraiser. I'll let Chrissy announce who that winner is.
Thank you for not doing the PowerPoint presentation. I appreciate that. Just to mention something quickly, what Tim mentioned was, I love that he brought up the point of community. And we've learned something these last 3 years being the chair is that it's not about one organization, it's about all of us. So thank you so much to all the civic organizations and businesses that have contributed to tonight. Vincent Scully Memorial Award, the winner is Katya Matias.
Congratulations, Patty. I'd like to welcome Michelle Capuano and Patty Mason to present the Windsor Junior Women's Club Mary Ellen Messina Award.
Each year at the Coronation Ball, the Windsor Junior Women's Club honors a candidate in the Shad Derby Queens competition. We bestow this Community Involvement Award to the candidate who best exemplifies a great regard for involvement in the Windsor community.
In 1969, Mary Ellen Messina spearheaded the charter group of the Windsor Juniors on the path of service, fundraising, and community awareness. Her contributions to the people of Windsor illustrated a deep commitment to community and enhanced the quality of life in our town. Windsor Juniors continue to keep her sense of community alive by bestowing this award in her memory. The winner of the Mary Ellen Messina Award is Madison Lee.
The Shad Derby tradition is kept kept alive through generous donations from many local businesses. These wonderful contributors are listed in your Coronation Ball program, along with a lot of pictures of me, so you should probably flip through that. It is due to the generosity of these supporters and each of the candidate sponsors that we are able to present the 2016 Shad Derby Queen and her court wonderful gifts and awards. Now, it's been a long time since I stood up here, and I have to tell you how impressed I am with all of you ladies. This was my dream when I was a very little kid, and I hope that through this process you've found a way to achieve your dreams as well. So, let's start with Miss Congeniality. Miss Congeniality is an award that is selected by the candidates themselves. The 2016 Shad Derby Miss Congeniality is Roshan Coleman. Second princess. The second princess will receive a beautifully engraved pewter bowl in addition to her Shad Derby award. The 2016 Shad Derby princess is Kaylee Bousquet. First princess. The first princess will receive a beautifully engraved pewter bowl in addition to her Shad Derby award. The 2016 Shad Derby first princess is Madison Lee. Princess Royal. The Princess Royal will receive a beautifully engraved pewter bowl in addition to her Shad Derby award. The 2016 Princess Royal is Yasmin Chue. The 2016 Shad Derby Queen will receive a Shad Derby award, a beautifully engraved pewter bowl, and a beautiful tiara donated by Bill Silly Jewelers, courtesy of the Jewelers of America, Inc. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so thrilled to announce that the 2016 Shad Derby Queen is Iris. while the Queen's parents and sponsors come to the stage. Afterwards, you'll be invited to come and share in the celebration. Once again, congratulations to the 2016 Shad Derby Queen and her court. On behalf of the Junior Women's Club, thank all of you for coming. Please enjoy some dancing that will be available until the event ends at midnight. Girls, you are amazing. Judges, you were amazing. Thank you. Have a great night.